So I got a really interesting question from Donna Hart down in the comment section, and she had asked about these strange sounds, these apocalyptic trumpet sounds and strange booms and stuff that we've been hearing for the last several years. Are they related to this volcanic activity and earthquake activity? And the answer is yes, absolutely. So I'm still compiling all of the actual clips on that for a deeper, better researched video, but I already have a ton of information, so I'm going to go ahead and put it out here. I'll start with this perfect example. This was posted, you can see right here, published April 12th, 2018. So this was preceding the volcanic eruptions and the earthquakes in Hawaii, and it's apocalyptic sounds recorded in Hawaii. And of course, the poster of this, I'll put the links below. Always, all of the links and credits are below. So you can go to this channel and watch the full video. But this channel was so open-minded in their presentation, they even said, of course, it's always possible that it's a hoax. But of course, it wasn't a hoax, because immediately after this, we saw the volcanic eruptions and the earthquakes. And if you watch all the way through to the end of the video, I'm going to put all the way back 100 years ago, with the major New Madrid earthquake that happened when the Mississippi ran backwards and all of that, that these same sounds were recorded in letters, the same sounds, the same earthquake lights and all of that. So I'll start with this clip, and then I'm going to go into the earthquake lights and all the stuff that we're seeing all around us. These are the signs. These aren't just mysteries and phenomena. These are connected. These are the signs of the times, folks. And this sound was recorded right before the Virginia earthquake in 2011.
And, well, just came back a few hours ago, and just wanted to say hi.
Here's another one in January of 2018 at 2 a.m. where they heard those same metal against metal type trumpet sounds in the sky before the earthquake hit. And you can see these, I want to point out, because everyone's like, oh, these are hoaxes and everybody's trying to make money and hits. No, oh, I can't scroll over far enough. But this was posted by a guy straight off his iPhone. There, I can go over. 615 views. He has 5 subscribers. So, I know everybody's cynical these days, but we need to realize people are trying to get the information out. If the scientists would actually pay attention to what all of the evidence says, instead of coming up with these silly, far-fetched theories and then discounting all of this evidence, discounting all of the data to force a square peg into a round hole, then we'd understand how our universe works. There wouldn't be any mysteries. There's only mysteries because there's closed minds, because people refuse to accept other people's puzzle pieces. So anyway, here's this gentleman's puzzle piece. Now, I personally grew up on Earth. I was born here. So I can testify that no, these strange sounds, these trumpet sounds and stuff were not prevalent like they are now. This just started in about 2008, leading up to what we've been preaching, what we've been warning about. So please take note of this, that it's not a coincidence that all of this is happening right now. this one, you can hear that sort of rolling thunderous sound. And this, again, this isn't associated with lightning and thunder. These are clear skies, but they report this thunderous sound. And then this also has the sort of screeching trumpet sound. It's a recording of a recording, so I don't know if this one will show up for you guys or not, but I'm gonna go ahead and try. And this clip was over Canada right before the earthquake. They heard both a strange high-pitched sound and they saw the earthquake lights. So they saw and heard both.
Look after, and you could definitely see where it had come down. He mentions to me he's from Vancouver, and he has.
And of course, most of us remember that strange sound that was recorded, that same strange skyquake sound that has been reported for years now, happening right in the middle of a Major League Baseball game. And so it was broadcast to the whole world. And here's a little clip of that. And make note of this date, August 23rd, 2011.
That's a haunting sound, if we've ever heard one. And what could that possibly be? Somebody shut the door.
And what happens? Earthquake hits third inning of Cleveland Indians game on the same day, 8/23/2011.
Double as this broadcast booth continues to shake back and forth. I have no idea what's going on, but it's not the most comforting time.
And these strange sounds were heard in Colorado right before the earthquake. And these are more akin to these booms, these mystery booms that people have been reporting. And these are the earthquake lights seen over China, over Sichuan, China in 2008, about a half hour before the big earthquake hit, right up to minutes before, and then that energy was dispersed. And whether you think that's from CERN or from HARP or from one of these man-made technologies, or whether you think that's some sort of solar minimum, solar maximum, solar flare sort of event that's a natural occurring event, you know, who knows? I'm sure somebody knows. Somebody out there has probably studied this out, but I haven't come to any concrete answers on that. All I know is that this does happen. There absolutely are these strange lights called earthquake lights that appear in the skies before these events. You know, I know a lot of people think it's man-made and some people think it's natural. Could be both. Could absolutely be both. And again, this strange rainbow light, this was what was seen again in 2014 over China right before the Yunnan earthquake. And this looks so similar. I'm going to try to look on my phone and see if I can get the picture. My brother texted me that he was seeing, he's like, look, there's no rain. It was beautiful sunny day. And he saw one of these over mom and dad's house and he took a picture of it and sent it to me. And it's a little alarming because we live on the New Madrid fault line. So, but this was like 2 months ago that he saw this. So I don't know how the energy releases work or whatever, but yeah, this looks very similar. Like I said, I'll look on my phone and see if I can find that picture and I'll pop it in here. But this is what was seen in 2014, right before the quake. Okay, I found it. Here's that picture my brother texted me. I will blow it up so you can see it better. Again, no rain for days. It was a beautiful blue sky. Everything was really dry. Actually, you can kind of see the grass was a little brown because it was a little dry. But yeah, my brother's not into rainbows and unicorns. So the reason he took the picture is because it was so odd that it was just such a beautiful blue sky with no storms or rain or anything. And these lights appeared in the sky out there over mom and dad's house. And oh, and I checked the timestamp on this, and this was actually towards the end of summer last year, which was about the time of the solar eclipse, which, you know, the path of totality crossed right over where we are, like here in Carbondale, Illinois, Carbondale, Marion area. So not only is it the New Madrid seismic zone, it was also said to be sort of the epicenter of where the path of totality was on the solar eclipse. And the solar eclipse that's coming 7 years later, actually the X meets right there over this area over southern Illinois. So take it for what it's worth. I mean, I'm always watching, so you know, I'll be watching, but it certainly might be something, some sort of precursor that people should be paying attention to. And this was what was seen over El Salvador right before their big quake. And this is a video that I put up after the 8.1 earthquake in Mexico, how there were all of these flashing lights right before the earthquake hit in the sky. This is kind of small on this one. I'll go back and see if I still have that clip saved on my computer so I can blow it up. But there it is. See it? And no, that's not lightning. Now, this is the big quake in 2011 in Japan, and this earthquake light is very strange. This one does look like it's some sort of technology because it's so centralized. It's like a small, almost like laser point of energy release, but that could happen naturally. You know, we don't know yet. Scientists want to tell you like they understand everything, but we don't yet understand all of this and how these energy releases work. But this one absolutely does look man-made, like it was some sort of attack on Japan. This was not the main quake as it hit. This was an aftershock.
In the distance among the swaying buildings, a bright glow in the night sky, possibly what scientists call an earthquake light.
Now this footage is taken from Yellowstone. This is Yellowstone a few years back in 2015 when there was all this unusual geyser activity like we're seeing now. And this one especially lends to the theory that this is all natural, that this energy is coming from the Earth's ley lines, because the reason I'm starting the clip this far up is so you can see the time lapse as it gets dark, so you'll kind of get an idea of where the lights are coming from, because once it gets dark you can't tell. They could be from space, but it's not. These lights, these earthquake lights, are coming from the Earth. You can see they're coming from down on the ground. And they're clearly electrical discharges or electromagnetic discharges, and different colors. They're not just white. If you look closely, I know this is grainy footage from the, you know, regular sort of surveillance cameras, but you can still see the lights, that they were green, they were red, they were white, they were yellow. They'll be down here in this area or along the bottom. And if you go back 100 years, even to the great earthquake, the New Madrid earthquake, where it said the Mississippi flowed backwards and all of that, I mean, it was one of the largest earthquakes in American history. and they recorded strange lights preceding it. Lewis F. Lynn, United States Senator, in a letter to the chairman of the Committee on Commerce, said that there were many accounts of flashes, glows, and fires in the sky were recorded during the New Madrid earthquake. Lightning and sparks were said to crackle across the ground, according to some accounts. An observer near New Madrid thought he saw what he described as many sparks of fire emitted from the earth. Observers in St. Louis saw gleams and flashes of light that were frequently visible around the horizon in different directions, seeming to ascend from the earth. Another man claimed to have seen 3 pale blue pillars of light for a good time in the distance. Now, this is super fascinating because I just showed you the actual CCTV footage of Yellowstone at the geysers. Obviously, back in 1812, they didn't have CCTV cameras everywhere to record this. But it's amazing confirmation now that we have on actual video, we can see for ourselves exactly what they're describing. These flashes coming out of the ground. And another fascinating thing, what about these 3 pale blue pillars of light that we're seeing? Now that's a little freaky because see, here's this video that I did 6 months ago. Firestorms, blue lights in the sky, 60 California wildfires out of nowhere. And we assumed that was a sign of a directed energy weapon, some type of energy weapon. And you can see, like, here's a picture of it. James Munder, he did lasers from the sky, and you can see that there were actual cell phone footage of these pillars of light in the sky. There's no way for me to know if that was a directed energy weapon or what it was, but the blue lights, the beams of blue light being seen, that's interesting in light of what we're talking about right now, because you had citizens in the area reporting seeing these pillars of light in the sky, and then all of a sudden electrical charges coming from the ground could have started wildfires too in multiple places, like you just saw in the Yellowstone, how it'd be a flash here and a flash there and a flash there, like that. What if it was some sort of the Earth's emitting its own electrical charge that started those fires? And we've been warning and warning about this coming California earthquake. As I've shown several times before in these warning videos, I have an entire playlist right here. Get out of California, earthquake, tsunami coming. Videos, dreams and visions of people all around the world who are having premonitions, or we call them prophetic dreams. These are all Christians. And I only put about 50 or 60 of those on that playlist just to get them in one place to show people what was really happening. But just search it, California earthquake dream. Here's almost 100,000 results right here. I mean, look at all these people. These are all different people seen the same thing. They're all seeing the same thing. So anyway, as always, I say take heed. If 100,000 servants of the Lord come before you and tell you the same thing, it might be worth listening to. Electric shocks. When the New Madrid earthquake struck, it was a commonly held belief that the amount of electricity in the ground reached a critical point and discharged suddenly. Many survivors of the earthquakes described the feeling of being electrocuted and a strange tingling all over their bodies. Some even said that they had no idea that what had happened was an earthquake at all, rather that they thought they had been badly shocked. One report even described metal objects attracting themselves to the wall as if by magnetism for the duration of some of the shocks. Strange indeed. And people are reporting this right now, all over Earth. In fact, Richie from Boston just put up a video talking about it. He's out on the road visiting people, and he was asking, are people feeling this tingling in their hands and up their arms and stuff? And everybody's like, yeah, I'm feeling it. And so he was reporting that he thought it was from this 5G network that was going up, but it sure sounds an awful lot about what preceded the massive New Madrid earthquake.
I'm curious if anybody else has noticed this or this has happened to you. I've met a lot of people that are saying that in the last maybe the last month, they're getting weird issues with nerves. Like you move your hand and you have pins and needles, or it's starting to become like everybody I run into, if I ask them about that, they go absolutely. And the thing about that is, so don't I. Suddenly, if I move my hand or extend my hand too much, I've got it all through in here. Is it part of this whole 5G? I don't know.
Okay, and then that brings me back around to Donna's question about the strange sounds. And yes, there were strange sounds. The same things that we hear now that we call trumpets in the sky and the booms. And see, I've done mystery boom videos and I say it sounds exactly like, gunfire, artillery fire, military fighting in the tunnels underneath us. But look all the way back 100 years, and they reported the same thing in conjunction with the skyquake sounds that we've been hearing. It sounds like metal scraping together and, really loud stuff. Everybody's like, is that the core? It sounds like the core of the earth. The earth is moaning. Well, 100 years ago, listen to what they said. In the 2 or 3 years prior to the New Madrid earthquakes, many mysterious loud booms and cracks were heard. Many described these sounds as resembling the sound of very large guns or artillery explosions. Much louder booms and explosion sounds were heard directly before the New Madrid earthquakes struck and signaling the following shocks. In the days the earthquakes were taking place, the constant sounds of rumbling thunder were heard, along with extremely loud sound of gas hissing forth from the earth. Cracks and booms were amplified to the level that they shattered windows and disoriented those subjected to it. Some described the sounds of metal scraping together and the sizzle of hot iron being thrown in water. For the most part, this obvious warning sign is being ignored, and the mysterious explosions are rarely mentioned by the media in any serious way related to earthquakes. And that's true. We see the media reports that people are reporting this happening, but nobody's saying, they're just like the police are like, I don't know, who knows where it's coming from? It's a mystery, it's a phenomenon.
You hear it in the house. Sometimes it shakes the house.
Mysterious explosions rocking an East Independence neighborhood, and no one seems to know what's causing.
Well, there's small ones and there's big ones.
Well, it feels like my whole house is just shaking. It feels like a bomb is actually going off in my backyard.
And David and Ann, interestingly, there have been reports of a similar boom from across the United States.
Dispatch cars, I believe EFD dispatched some fire people. I'm sure EPD dispatched people to the area. At the end of the day, we've not been able to find anything.
Crews scoured the area, but didn't find anything.
I mean, look at and the fact that in the 2 to 3 years prior to the Madrid or earthquakes, this is a major problem. Every time we try to reason scientifically with unbelievers and tell them what the Holy Spirit's been showing us and that these things are coming, they're like, oh yeah, well, you said that last week and look, nothing happened. They'll say, put up a video and they're like, yeah, it's been 30 days and of course nothing happened. And it's like, what is wrong with you? Why can't you see what we're saying? We've been warning about this for decades. We've been showing you the warning signs for decades leading up. Signs, just like I've done videos with this exact analogy, that when you're going down the interstate and you're looking for your off-ramp, or you're going down the road and there's a bridge out ahead, they don't put the sign right at the edge of the cliff. So when you're screaming by 60 miles an hour and fly over the cliff and they're like, oh, well, we put a sign a foot before the cliff that the bridge was out. No, they put the signs miles back, 8 miles back, 10 miles back, exit in 8 miles, exit in 2 miles, exit in a mile. They put the signs ahead. But instead of people receiving the warning because God is so merciful, no, they twist it around and say, well, it didn't happen in 10 minutes. So, if it's not a microwave, if I didn't pop it in the microwave, pop the prophecy in the microwave and it's done in 30 seconds, that microwave mentality. When God is merciful and he is warning us, this is just some of the evidence that the things that we are seeing right now, the things that we are hearing right now, these are all of the things that preceded other massive earthquakes in recorded history. Oh, let me just throw in this one more. Strange animal behavior. It is said in the days prior to the New Madrid massive earthquake, animals began to display very strange behavior. Snakes crawled out of their holes in the winter, and many animals vacated the area. Tame animals began to become vicious and turn on their masters, and some wild animals lost their fear of humans and began to approach them. Deer tried to enter houses, and flocks of geese landed at people's feet. And that is precisely what Mr. MBB333 has been doing, I don't know, for the last several weeks, a month about. He has tons of videos, probably dozens, over the last month or so, where, look at this, strange wildlife behavior persists. More new strange wildlife behaviors, talking about these animals, wild animals, just coming up to people. Just exactly what was recorded during the massive New Madrid earthquake or preceding it. But here's a real short clip I wanted to show you from one of them, and this is about animals evacuating the West Coast in Oregon.
Something's coming. Good video here from Secure Team 10. Tyler is talking about in this video about a landscape anomaly in Oregon that's being observed by citizens there of no birds. But here at earthfiles.com, this is where the story is being covered the most right now. People are sending in emails and sharing their stories of what they're observing and not seeing, and something's not right in southern Oregon. I have 2 large bird feeders and 2 hummingbird feeders that I've been refilling all winter until about a week ago. Nothing. No birds. We also have a large population of geese that are always in our park, but nothing for over a week. And this is dated March 24th of 2018.
Okay, while I'm on Mr. MBB333, he just posted a clip a few days ago about these strange sounds that I started the video off with. And this was heard in Windsor, Ontario. All the links below again. Now, I wanted to point that out because if you know where Ontario is, it's really directly, even though it's Canada, it's directly above Michigan. It's above the Great Lakes. See, like here's Ontario and here's Michigan. And in relation to what we were talking about earlier with the New Madrid fault line, you can see they say these are the sort of prophetic maps of when the USA splits in half from this megaquake. So you see, it comes straight across where I was telling you about, then southern Illinois, and it goes up and connects with the Great Lakes. So it connects the Gulf of Mexico with the Great Lakes. So up here you have Ontario and Michigan. So what have we seen in Michigan recently? So not only have we had earthquakes in the last few months in Michigan, but remember this, when they said that meteor came down and there was this mystery beam of light, this light pillar, this red light pillar that nobody understood where it came from or what it meant. That was Detroit, Michigan. So this is an actual picture of it. This is the light pillar. And remember, we were talking about the same thing we saw out in California preceding the wildfires, and the same thing before the megaquake in 1812 with the light pillars. So I just thought that was odd. So everybody, please, of course, prepare and be awake and be a watchman and all of that. But the main way you need to prepare is get your souls right with God. Now's the time. Nobody's guaranteed tomorrow. Just get right with God. Enjoy your life. If it lasts and you live to be 120 years old, then that's fantastic. But either way, you'll have a better life if you get your life right with God now anyway. And at the same time, you're safe. If something does strike suddenly, you're safe. You're good. You have eternal life. So I love you guys. God bless you and your families.